to Chuck's Diecast car and model reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at this car. This is the Lamborghini Miura. As you can see here, this particular model is made by Bburago and it's in 1/18 scale. This is the second model of Miura I've ever bought. In fact, the Miura, I think the first one I ever bought was possibly the very first diecast car I ever bought, probably about 25 years ago. However, that one was not the best, and it was a little bit out of scale. It was a little too large to be 1/18 scale, so I bought this one. This one is it's a decent model, but honestly it's sort of a filler model because although it's a decent model, it's not a great model, and I want to get a better one of this car because it is, sort of that important of a car in, sports car history. The Miura came out in, I believe, 1966. The original design was actually just a chassis and not a body that was displayed at a car show in Europe. What happened was that it caused such excitement because, it was a mid-engine V12 sports car that they were almost forced to actually start selling it. And then they got Bertone to design this body around it. It is of course, a gorgeous car, very unique in its styling, and I think it's really a gorgeous car. It's very different from modern sports cars, which are a little too angular, and also almost, because of their performance, a little too dependent on aerodynamics, so much so that it affects their looks somewhat. But the Miura was designed in a day where it was like, well, it looks cool, let's just go ahead and make the car. But the Miura was the first production car to have a mid-engine V12 motor. It was a 4-liter V12. I think it had about 350 horsepower, something like that. Interesting thing about this engine, actually a couple of interesting things about this engine. It's actually mounted transversely, meaning the crankshaft goes this way instead of longitudinally like most V8s and V10s and V12s. The other interesting thing about this motor was originally the transmission and the engine shared the same oil, which of course turned out to be a bad idea, so they ended up splitting the engine and crankcase oil supply in later models, and for the better there. But it was kind of a revolutionary idea, both with the engine layout as well as that funky thing. Lamborghini, I guess, was using their own customers as test beds to see how that would work. But as you can see here, the design is by Bertone, and it is the defining feature of the car is these headlights, which do pop up to go vertical when they're on, and also what they call these eyelashes here, which were deleted in later models. I think the SV, which was the last model that was made, did not have this. It was just painted black in this area. But let's take a look at the model itself here. If you'll notice here, this is one reason why I'm planning on getting a new one. First of all, you'll see that the door does not close completely, and there's also a big panel gap right here. Doesn't matter what I do to adjust this, there's still going to be this panel gap, so I gotta get something because that just bugs me. The appearance of the wheels here, these are Campagnolo knockoff wheels. The appearance of the wheels in terms of the way they look in their design, is not bad. However, they weren't chrome; they were silver. So yet another reason why I want to get a different model here. But other than that, you know, the profile, other than this big gap here, is you know, pretty decent, and the paint is actually nice. It's actually a very credible paint job done by Bburago in this particular case. So you got to give them credit for that. Taking a look here at the front, you'll see, of course, the headlights. The detail on the headlights is actually nice. The grille, that's not mesh or anything like that. It's just plastic that is not, you know, see-through, but it looks okay. And this little grille up here is also not perforated either, but looks okay as well. Looking here under the front hood here, which is kind of hard to open because I think of this alignment issue here. You can see here that, I mean, the detail is not painted, but it's actually there. You can see the spare tire, the strap holding down the spare. There's the battery and the fans for the radiator, and there's even the radiator up front. So honestly, that's not too bad there. So, and you can also see the A-arms for the front suspension, and presumably the tubular frame for the front part of the chassis. You can see there's not much up here. This was back in the day when they didn't have too much in the way of crash standards as well. So if you were in a bad crash, I kind of think you'd probably have been in pretty bad trouble if it was a front-end collision. And taking a look here at the rear, of course, you know, everybody loved louvers back then, so you know, the Countach, I mean, well, the Countach didn't have it, but for later cars, but other cars all the way up until the 80s, remember, you know, your Camaros and your fastback Mustangs all had them and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, they were a popular option back in the day, but I think the Miura may have been one of the first cars to provide the louvers on a car. But taking a look here, it's actually, it looks pretty good back here, all things considered. The rear valance here is perforated, so that looks pretty good. The Lamborghini and the Miura badges on the back probably could have a little bit better detail, but you know, what do you expect for 15 bucks? And also the taillights look pretty good as well. Taking a look at the interior, well, interior again, not bad. Let's see here. You can see pretty good detail there on the instrument panel, the steering wheel. There are pedals down there, and you can even see the gated shifter there, and the handbrake lever in the center console, so not bad. The seats don't look too bad, and I've actually sat in one of these, and it's actually, those seats are pretty darn comfortable. Honestly, it would be probably better as a Grand Tour or GT car than a sports car, but I fit in it well, and I'm 6'1", so hey, if I win the lottery, maybe I'll get one of these. Looking at the door panels, again, not bad there as well. By the way, if you didn't know, the name Miura is the name of a famous fighting bull, and so, which is why, you know, they named it that because, of course, the symbol for Lamborghini is a bull, and they say here that when you have the doors open, these doodads here on the doors, you know, are representative of bull's horns. I kind of doubt that they meant to represent that when they designed the car, but that's the story there. All in all, I mean, it's, other than this rather egregious situation here with the
panel gap, this is actually a pretty decent model. But because of this panel gap, I'll probably be getting myself, you know, a better model here, maybe an Auto Art or Kyosho or something like that here in the future. And if I do, of course, I'll do a video on that as well. But that's all all I have for this particular car. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like it and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.